We got a lot going on, but I tell you what, a change is going to come. And we have joining us, as I said, live in the studio. All right, so do we have our Minister of Information on with us right now?
Hello, yeah, I'm on.
Okay, now please properly tell us how to pronounce your name.
Salam Sadiq L.
Is that what she said? Is that what Chris said? Salam Sadiq L.
Do I get a prize because I did it right?
Did you say that for real?
I did.
I don't think you said that.
We're just going to say I did.
That's not what you said.
We're running the playback tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Salam. So we have Salam with us, and we have Darion, and we also have Sir Louis Green. Thank you so much for coming back.
It was so nice. It came back twice.
I know.
I came back with gifts, you know. I got T-shirts for you guys.
Here. You got...
I came back with gifts. I got T-shirts for you guys. I got the Black Excellence T-shirt.
Oh, look at this.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh. That is so nice. Black Excellence. Oh, I love that. Oh, my God. This is so nice. Shout out to Sir Louis Green. He came back bearing gifts. And, I mean, he also gave us his other gift, too, like his special gifts. He brought his blender. I said, don't come unless you got your blender. He brought... But thank you. Thank you so much for these. And we're going to put these on. We have our next break. Okay, so... really quick, because we really don't want to go into actual interviews. We really want to just do the roundtable. But if you could just introduce yourself real quick, Darion, and just tell everyone pretty much, you know, who you are and a little bit about CommonTruce. We have another caller? Okay. Yes, please. Okay, if you could just... You can go right here, Darion. Yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead, Darion.
Okay.
1 second, caller.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Darion Coleman. I'm the founder and creator of CommonTruce. CommonTruce is a platform where I bring people together.
Nice.
You know, that's basically the primary focus of CommonTruce. And, you know, even though we had different disagreements and, you know, we have varying opinions, it's always good just to bring us together, you know, and to understand the different viewpoints of, you know, our brothers and our sisters. So that's basically what my platform is all about.
I agree, definitely, and thank you so much again for joining us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just jump right into the to the roundtable discussion. So our first question that we want to put on the table is: does Black history start with slavery? That's our first question. And so how this is gonna work, because everyone has mics, we have callers on the phone, they're like everywhere. I think they're like texting us, and I'm going crazy. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna throw it out there, and I'm just gonna. Each of us can kind of answer if you want to answer. So I'm going to start this first question off with Salim. Is it Salim? Are you here?
Hello?
Salim, is that you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is the boys. I had called you probably like 20 minutes ago.
Right. Okay, can you give me 1 second? Salim, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can you please answer the question? So the first question is, does Black history start with slavery?
That's an interesting question. I would say yeah. It does. I mean, for multiple reasons, you know, Black history truly begins with slavery because it was in 1739 when he labeled everybody black. So everybody from that point on been here for a while, established kind of their own history here in the Americas. But prior to so-called black people, no, our history is ancient.
Well, then that's what we're talking about. We don't, even though we're saying Black history because we're using that as Black history, we don't want to talk about what Americanized is as far as, okay.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, to contradict what you said, to be honest, right, slavery did not start Black history. It's a part of Black history. You know what I mean? We were there before slavery. So slavery does not define us. It was just a part of our, you know what I mean, our journey through life. So you can't say there was no Black history before slavery. You know, it's like saying that we were not black, we were not people before slavery. Nah, we were black, you know what I mean, we did what we did. We came from Africa. You know, so slavery is just a part of what it is that happened with us in our journey through life. That's how I feel.
I can understand. I think he's pretty much going with us not calling ourselves African anymore.
Right.
When we came here,
And
we
was
became
considered black. Right.
You know, they labeled us a color,
Right.
not a people.
So that's what we're doing tonight, and let's make that clear off the break, is that we're talking about what people don't know. So the whole roundtable is what was left out of our history books. So when you are excited about going to the Black African Museum and you're all excited and it starts with slavery, like, that's not who we truly are. So what we want to do is kind of bring light to everything or anything that was left outside of the history book. So
yeah, and let me say this also. You know what I mean? For, you know, all listening people, the brothers on the phone, brothers who do your cases, I'm coming with peace and love, brothers. You know what I mean? I'm not coming to debate, argue, whatever the case is with anybody. I'm just coming with facts. And I appreciate the brother who came out and kind of cleaned it up. He called what I was saying. Prior to us coming here, we were not black people. We were Igbo. You know, we were Sudanese. We had tribes. So the so-called black people have developed their own history in which they celebrate, you know, through the greats here in America. But of course we have ancient history. We before time. You know, we have prehistory. I understand all that, but so-called black people, Negroes, African Americans have their own history, and that's just the facts.
yeah, I mean, I totally get both, but
I mean, it's all about the perception and how you see things. Like, from the way you described it, you know, I mean, I have no other choice but to agree with you based on your perception. But the way I see it, being that I'm actually African American, I grew up with dual nationality, and seeing things from both sides of the coin and the table lets me see the world from a different view. So when I say black history, I say African. I've always been black. You know, I've always been African. So to me, I don't see a difference between both. You know, I should say being black is African. I should being African is black.
definitely. What's your thoughts on that, Darion?
I think you know, our lineage. I mean, it carries from the beginning of time. I mean, I think that you know, if you even read in the Bible, just Jesus, I believe Jesus was black. You know, just this perception of the greatness that we had, and I think, you know, coming to today, you know, I think that just our power is being, you know, negated by the influence of what people want us to believe about ourselves. And I think that, you know, we do a disservice to our people and to ourselves as individuals not to understand and recognize, you know, who we are as individuals and as a people.
I definitely agree.
So who would you say we are then?
We're great. I mean, we're I mean, if you look back at history, I mean, we really, everything we put in place, everything. I mean, from mathematics to, you know, entertainment. I mean, we are the creators, and we were the creators of basically everything.
I mean, because we didn't have everything, so we had to create things.
Right.
Right. So they learned
So,
from us. Yeah,
yeah.
it all came from us. And
We were more technical, you know what I mean, more hands-on, you know what I mean, because if you went to Africa, that's how people learned that, hey, this is how you build bridges. Africans were doing it with sticks and ropes, you know what I mean, things like that.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So now they took those ideas and they developed them, you know what I mean, but a lot of things came from Africa.
It did.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Do we still have we have any other callers on the phone? We have another caller. So you're on with us. How do you feel about this question? Does black history start with slavery? What are your thoughts on that?
To me, no, it doesn't. It doesn't start with slavery. As far as the westernized, you know, school system, then yes, but it's up to us to educate our kids outside of the school system. So, but like I said, it's all about perception, pretty much. What it boils down to, though, and their environment, what they being taught, what are they feeding themselves. So, as far like us knowing like our history, it's pretty much out for us to speak instead of just waiting on it. So, as far as slavery, you know, our history, I don't agree with it. You know, I don't think that so.
No, and I mean, again, for everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much for listening to the Miss O Show. We are doing a a roundtable. It's a roundtable discussion about real Black history, and even using that word that Black so lightly. I mean, I'm so happy that we have Louis with us, because again, he's actually, he's African. So as he said, he sees it from both sides. He's always been, Black African. So I'm sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our next question, Chris.
Okay, my burning question is, and I actually have a couple of them, but I'm going to start with this one. So what issues should we address first to build a stronger foundation in the African-American community, or even within ourselves?
Anyone want to take it? Go.
Yo, I would love this question. I love this question, man. You know what I mean? Basically, to sum it all up, man, all we got to do is break the cycle. Simple as that. Break the cycle. You know what I mean? Let's stop buying cars and renting apartments, because that does not make sense. You know what I mean? Because you're buying something that depreciates and you're investing in somebody else's dream by paying rent. Why not pull our money together and buy up all these corner stores? You know what I mean? Let's build our own community. Let's see the black dollar circulate 15 times before it leaves our neighborhood. Let's model our neighborhoods after Jewish people. You know what I mean? Let's build our own hospitals. Let's doctors go to school, come back and establish their practice in a Black neighborhood, and let us as Black people actually value our neighborhood. Let's do what we can to keep it clean, police it up. I mean, if you want to sell drugs, find a spot that makes it clean, that you keep it out of the way. I mean? Be smart about it, but do things so therefore we can advance ourselves. Just be excellent at being Black. That's all we got to do, is break the cycle. One person is all it takes to break the cycle.
I mean, I do agree with that. And I think when I look at things, I'm like, it just seems like, and this is just me, it just seems like we are the only ones that just do not support our own. I mean, like, we can have any businesses, and then it's also twofold, because sometimes we want to support our own and we might not get the best service, or it might be, okay, well, can I get this, but can I get a discount, can you hook me up, you know what I mean? So it kind of goes, but I agree with you. I mean, I think that we have to feed back into our community to definitely start in the right direction. What about you, Salim?
Well, I definitely think, that's the only problem we have right now is the socioeconomic problem in our community. There were times and eras where we had our own communities, not just Black Wall Street and Tulsa, but Weeksville in New York, and you got different Black areas that was very prominent during the time. I think that what took place was in the 60s, integration toppled a lot of our businesses and our community brands and stuff like that. So we became dependent on other people to kind of hold us down financially, and that kind of was our undoing when we began to lean on others to do for us when we used to do for ourselves. So I think, but I agree with everybody saying, we need to kind of collectively get back together and do our own thing.
Definitely. I mean, he made a valid point with that. But okay, so we know that, and you said it takes one person, but it's like, really, how do you get, because I'm just being honest with you, like I've been on this spiritual journey, and every time I say I'm on a spiritual journey, people instantly think, oh, you're going to church, and no, I'm on a real spiritual journey. And when I started the whole journey and learning about who I am and where we come from and all of that, like I remember putting something out on Facebook, and I can't even remember. I think it was actually a quote from a book I was reading. It said something about I can't even remember, but I think it said something, the Bible is the Black history book or something like that. I think that's what it said. And it literally sparked up this whole debate. I mean, it was like 50-something comments. I had people in my inbox that was like going off on me. So what are you trying to say? Wait, Jesus is Black. What do you mean? And da 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 da. Oh, you're not a Christian. You're going to hell. And I mean, like, it was just like they really went crazy. So I'm like, okay, we say it might take a person to do it, but how? Like, really? I mean, when I feel like so many people aren't even willing to even open up to even read. Like, okay, I always say, and I've always heard, that don't just listen to what people say. Investigate yourself. Read yourself. Find out yourself. Don't just take someone's word for it and blindly be led, but also research it. But we don't even do that. They always say, if you want to figure out some kind of way to hide something from us, put it in a book. because we're not going to read. So really, I mean, like, how do we do this,
Well, you know what I mean? Like in Africa, in Nigeria, they taught us, man, it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I mean? So, and charity begins at home. So it starts with the parent. You know what I mean? The parent letting the kid know that when you go to school, the teacher is the authority. I better not get a call saying you're in trouble because I'm going to beat you before you get home. I do not want to hear no explanation because you're supposed to go to school and respect the teacher. You know what I mean? So now, when we instill that in our kids and we instill respecting them, when they go forward, they're going to use respect wherever they go. They're going to learn. Because me, as a black business owner that I've hired people, I've dealt with the same issues over and over again, trying to get people to listen or understand. And I'm like, I can't be teaching you life skills at this age.
Right.
This is something that your
You should
mother
already
should have
know.
taught you, or somebody should have taught you when
Right.
you were home. So that's the problem. We are very defensive about who raises our children. I've had people say, oh, nobody's ever going to beat my kid, or this and that. Then you do it.
Right.
Exactly.
Then you do it.
You know what I mean? If you're not going to do it, or you're not going to discipline your kid, let somebody that is more qualified do it. You know what I mean? Or don't undermine. I think in a way we've learned to undermine other people because I think because of society, teachers were white and things like that. So I understand. Oh, you don't want a white teacher beating a black kid because it reminds them of, you know what I mean, of slavery or anything like that. Then let's give the black teachers the respect that they deserve if they come into the community. You know what I mean? If you go and do that. You know what I mean? Why don't you stand behind the teacher and don't say, oh, I'm going to run to the school and go fight the teacher because you disciplined my child.
Right.
You know what I mean? What kind of example are you setting for your children? You know what I mean? So that's the kind of things that we have to start with. Like, we gotta cut the head of the snake off. So we as adults have to take responsibility and, like I said, break the cycle. Somebody has to say stop. You know what I mean? And tell the next person stop. Stop encouraging ourselves and say, hey, man, that was good what you did. Oh, I'm going to pull up with you and fight. You know what I mean? You need to just say, you know what, stop. You're too grown to be pulling up and fighting.
I also do think, and Chris, I want to get your opinion on this too, because we haven't really heard too much from you. I also think that what you said is true too, but in the same token, a lot of our families aren't just, they're being raised by, single moms, which I'm a single mom, I'm a single mom and I have a daughter. So of course I can't raise her. I can't be the dad, she misses that and stuff. So I think that that's definitely a breakdown, especially for boys, boys who don't have their fathers in their lives and things like that. And then sometimes you have babies raising babies, so they don't even know how to discipline a child or what a child should do because they weren't even raised. They're kids raising kids. So I mean, what's your thoughts on it, Chris? Like, what do you think as far as that goes?
Oh, I had a brain freeze. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about. I just had this really thing I just really wanted to find out, especially with the history of us being brought here, and Sunday was the day that we got free from the slave masters to go worship and whatnot. You brought up Christianity. I just wanted to know if in this age of enlightenment, should we shy away from Christianity? Should we look more for like a spiritual base? I think that's another show because
I
have never felt comfortable. I was forced to go to church when I was younger, and I've never felt comfortable going to church. I want to know.
I think that is definitely.
I answered it real quick for it.
Go ahead, give me what you got.
You see what I'm saying? And this is what we're taught. You know what I mean? In the more side of America, this is what we're taught. Christianity is fine for those who prefer it. You see what I'm saying? But if you really want to get down to the truth, Christianity, okay, at its core, it's us anyway. And it's just historically speaking, going back to the Coptic Egyptians who first taught it, okay, to the invading Roman Empire who came in, and Ptolemy took it to another level with him being the Soter. So when you look at the core of Christianity, even starting with the book of Genesis, the book opens up, okay, it says the Pison and Gihon River, which is the white and blue Nile. It opens up in Africa, and everything comes out of Africa. So at the core, it's ours anyway. As Dr. John Henry Clark said, it's the carbon copy of a copy. So if you want to stray away from Christianity and get back to some type of spiritual form of worship, whatever the case is, it's all the same thing. And I studied all the religions. Okay, I read and speak Hebrew, okay, and Arabic, so I understand what I'm talking about. It's all the same thing. It's the center of peace, finding yourself at peace with something. And that's my answer. I'll have another show.
Real quick, right? I just wanted to reflect on what you asked before she made that statement. We have 8 million churches in a black neighborhood, but none of them coming in to help raise the kids. Because, you know what I mean, we're putting in money into the churches every week. You know what I mean, you have single mothers, you have this, you have that. But now it's time for the churches, like they say, they want to be so Christian or whatever, to step up, you know what I mean, and be selfless. No matter how hard it takes, they got to step up. Somebody has to accept this responsibility. You know, who's going to accept the responsibility? The people that we go to looking for salvation to every week? The government? Because the only thing the government has is a handout that keeps you down. So we need upliftment. You know, we need programs that uplift people out of a black neighborhood, not ones that keep you in the same situation. Like, for example, the Section 8 program, they should need to revise the way it's like you have to do certain things to advance to get up out of the situation.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Not that you're passing it from generation to generation to generation to generation. Let's break the cycle.
Right.
That's what I guess that's my main thing about life. Let's break the cycle.
Definitely.
But I think part of breaking the cycle is going initially to why we started doing this show was like we have to learn who we came from initially to break the cycle, because all we know is we just came over as slaves.
Yeah. Exactly.
The whole history is whitewashed.
Let me speak to that real quick. I don't mean to cut anybody off because I'm noticing everybody keep carrying this schism of theme that black people came over here on slave ships, etc., etc. If anyone takes time to understand and study history, okay, only 10 Africans were brought to the shores of Hampton, Virginia. Okay, they initially started slavery, or so-called slavery, initial servitude. The first slaves, or Slavs, okay, were European prisoners who they call Slavs. Those are the slaves. Your ancestors are called captives, not slaves. Okay, the ones you see in chains are not slaves. They haven't broken them yet. So we don't need to get in our mind that thousands of slave ships came to the shores of North America when in actuality it did not happen. Black people were already here in America. And that's why we have to be careful and stop saying we're African. Because if we say we're African, we're limiting ourselves to one continent. We're from everywhere, from the whole planet. There's nowhere they can't go where we ain't already been.
Okay. And with that, we're going to go into our next question.
Next question. This is a good one. How much are we hurting ourselves, or are we hurting ourselves by calling us niggas and bitches?
Can you repeat that a little louder?
How much are we hurting ourselves, or are we hurting ourselves by calling each other niggas and bitches?
Can you? I like Darren
I
answer.
think so. I think that is very degrading. I think that, unfortunately, it's become like accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I think that is also oftentimes glorified for some odd reason. But I think that it all goes back to self-reflection and understanding who we are. Just the message of this show. It's really just to find that love. You know, I think that's what we're missing, and really trying to get together and really bring that solidarity between us men and women. So the respect has to get back restored. Right. The love has to get back restored, and we need to try to just like the brother said, make sure that our children are right. Teach our children differently. But if they turn on the TV or if they turn on the music, I mean it's like you fighting an uphill battle, and I think that the society and the powers that be that have control over the networks and the television channels and the shows, that they love to paint us in that light, because you'll never see no uplifting shows or no positive views of black people. You don't see that. That's true. You got to understand that they're marketing to our demise. And really don't get caught up in all that, because once you get caught up in that, you're going to succumb and think that's regular or think that's acceptable when it's really not. So I think that the whole verbiage and the whole respect level, that starts at the home with the kids, and us as adults, I think that we need to take the strides needed to really take leadership, especially the men. We need to stand up for what's right, and we need to be that example and really show, the men and the women and the young kids that, hey, look, this is how you're supposed to do things. This is how you're supposed to raise a family. This is, how you be a man. Because a lot, just like you said, a lot of men or a lot of young boys, they're not raised by, men in the household.
Right.
And a lot of men, we're just going off of like life lessons. We go through struggles and we go through, tribulations, and we're learning off the rip, because we didn't have anybody to show us the ropes or show us, hey, Darion, don't do X, Y, and Z. But the lessons that we learn as men, we need to bestow that and teach our young brothers and, let them know, hey, look, don't do that. Even if it's not, I don't have any children, but, I feel the need that, hey, look, I need to go back and touch these young brothers.
Right. Definitely.
And give back, and do my part.
Definitely.
So we can't wait on other people to do what's needed to be done. If you see something that needs to be done, we need
do
to
it.
just go ahead and do it.
It's your community. Take care of it.
Right.
Most definitely.
So we want to hear from you, listeners. If you didn't hear the question too well, is how much or is it hurting our communities by us walking around calling? We have a caller. Caller, you are on live with the Miss O Show. Who are we speaking with? Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, homie.
What's up, girl? What you got for us tonight?
Okay, well.
So listen, we want to ask you the question. She got a cute voice. I thought it was my daughter for a minute. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, Paris, don't be doing that.
Girl, don't let that voice fool you.
I thought it was Paris, and she ain't come with me. And I'm like, oh, darn. So question for you, caller, if you don't mind answering. Do you feel like us as a community calling each other, whether it's nigger, whatever, bitches, all that, do you feel like that's, hurting us? Do you feel like that's actually, painting us yet again in a negative light?
Yeah, I definitely. Chris knows I don't like the N-word. I don't use it. I don't let my husband use it. It's not my thing. I do use the B word, usually after a few margaritas. But the truth of the matter is, I do think that language is very important. And I know I've listened to your show a couple of times, and I know you're big on the daily affirmations. And I think that a big part of people who subscribe or prescribe rather to affirmations is the understanding that what you say is often internalized.
Yes.
So what you put out into the world
yes.
often comes back to you.
Yes.
And it's also often a reflection of how you perceive and how you perceive the world around you and how you feel about yourself. I always try to make a big point about a lot of people who use it. Well, not a lot of people, but let me just say that I make a point about using the N-word in that the N-word nigger means ignorant, right? And people who call other people, if you replace nigger or nigga or whatever it is you want to say with the word ignorant, and you say what it means, hey, my ignorant, what's up, ignorant? How you doing, ignorant? You my ignorant. If I said that to you, you wouldn't feel so good about it. So I think that to a large extent, yes, that there is some part of us where it's detrimental, but I do think it goes back, and I had kind of been writing some notes because I tried to call in like 4 times, and y'all went to like 3 different topics.
Can I get you to hold for one super
sure.
second? Just hold on, don't go anywhere, okay? Because as always, we're running out of time. It goes by so fast. Oh my God! But I just wanted to get one last question in. I wanted to get one last question in before we have to wrap this up. And I also want you guys to know that even though this is quote unquote Black History Month, we're going to do this all the time. So we're going to come back, you know what I mean? Because again, we need to continuously educate our people. And like Lewis said, the only way we can do that is if we teach. We have to teach. And if we have these platforms to be able to talk to people, we don't need to be talking negative things. You know, as Darion said, yes, the Miss O Show is about positivity. So we're going to use this to be able to do that. But one question that I wanted that I want to get out before we have to get off of here is if you can implement any important piece of information to each black person you come across or our listeners for tonight's show, what would you tell them? Like, what would you tell them if there was any piece of information, solid information that we can give to our listeners before we get off of here? What would you tell them? Start with you, Louis, real quick, because we got like seconds.
Break the cycle.
Break the cycle. Darion.
Love yourself.
And Salim, are you still on with us?
Yeah, I would just tell them, study yourself, man.
Would you say study yourself?
Yeah.
Study yourself. Okay, guys, and real quick, as I said, we ran out of time yet again, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're going to continuously do this, so we might have this once every month, every other month. We will keep you posted on that. But next week's show, we will actually be off air, but we're going to be doing a repeat of one of our shows, and then when we come back on March the 8th, we will be back in studio with Queen Status, and we have Malicia Brim that's going to be calling in. She is Floyd Mayweather's child's mother, but not just that, she also is a amazing businesswoman, and we have Irena Tyler, who is going to be coming in studio for Queen Status. So shout out to all of our guests tonight, Salim, Darion, and Sir Louis Green. Thank you so much for our t-shirts. I will definitely rock this. We're going to take some pictures and our drinks and we truly appreciate everyone for listening and tuning into the Miss O Show. As always, we like to close out a show with a closing quote. So tonight's quote is, in order to get to where we are going, we must learn where we came from. Okay? And coming up next, we have 420 Friendly Radio, only on the RIP Radio Network. Thank you so much for listening to the Miss O Show.
The wireless customer you called is not available at this time. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.